my name is Maris.
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Good. Well, today we're going to be doing an Ebbiling treadmill walking test. Do you have any idea what that might be?
No, not really.
It's basically just walking on a treadmill, and we're going to track what your VO2 max is. And what that means is that we're going to find out the maximum rate of oxygen consumption your muscles use during exercise. And also that will show how effective you are at doing daily tasks, as in like walking stairs and as well as exercise.
All right.
All right. We're just going to go and sit down, and then we'll just take some resting values for you.
All right.
Okay. And so now that I've taken your blood pressure, it was 122/58, and your resting heart rate was 88. Both of these values are really good, so we'll be able to do the walking test. So as you warm up here, I'm just going to show you quickly about what I calculated. We calculate 85% of your max heart rate, so that just means that the value that we got was 172, so we can't go above that heart rate reading. If we do, then we can stop the test. And then for your warm-up, we have to stay in between 50 and 70% of your predicted heart rate, and that's between 101 and 141 beats per minute. As well with the warm-up, we're going to keep you at a speed of 3.5 with 0 incline, and after every minute I'm going to take your heart rate reading. Okay, so with these 4 minutes you're in between your 50 and 70% heart rate max, so I'm going to go ahead and add an incline of 5%, and we're going to be here for another 4 minutes. So for this last minute, your heart rate has to be in between 144 and 153 in order for you to reach steady state. And right now it's at 152. So with that, I'm going to put you into recovery, and I'm going to decrease your rate to 0, but still keeping your speed the same. And we're going to be there for 5 minutes and still monitoring what your heart rate is. So after this last minute, what I'm going to get you to do is we're going to go back and sit down, and I'm going to take your heart rate and blood pressure and monitor that for 5 minutes. All right. So your blood pressure was 122/62, and your heart rate was 108. So your heart rate is coming down. So we're just going to do the third heart rate and blood pressure reading. So your blood pressure was 120/58, and your heart rate was 102. So it's still coming down pretty slow, so that's really good to see. So I'm just going to take the 5th minute reading. So your blood pressure was 118/58, and your heart rate was 101. So it's pretty close to what your resting readings were. So I did all of your calculations, and your VO2 max came out to 38.9, which means that your aerobic fitness score is 389.2. These are the calculations for Sydney's VO2 max for the Ebbiling treadmill walk.
So she would have been 36.
Okay. According to the table 4.1, the cardiorespiratory fitness classifications, it doesn't have Sydney's age in there of 18 years old, so it's not accurate enough to give her what her health benefit zone would be.
Yeah.
Why don't you come have a seat and I'll explain what we're going to do today. We are going to do the YMCA cycle test, and all it's going to be doing is finding your VO2 max, which will show us how efficiently your body can use the oxygen it consumes, so you can, performing daily tasks such as climbing stairs or even exercises. Okay. So while you're sitting, I'm going to take some resting values as your heart rate and blood pressure. Alright, so your blood pressure was 128 over 71. If I could please get you to come stand beside the seat, so I just want to make sure it's the proper height. Alright, so if you'd like to hop on and see if the stride's right. Is start your warm-up. So you're going to pedal at 50 watts, and we're going to do this for 3 minutes, and if you're in steady state, then I'll be able to figure out what workload I'm going to put you under. Okay? So you can please begin that. Okay, so you are in steady state for your warm-up, and you're at 94, which means you're in, I'm going to up the resistance to 1.5. And just keep pedaling at 50 watts. Okay. Alright, so now that you're almost done this minute, if you are higher than 133, we'll have to do another minute. But if you're below that, then we can move on to a third workload where I will up it to 2 kp. 147. So because it is, I'm going to up it to 2. Perfect. Alright, so now that we're coming on to the third minute of the third workload, it has to be between 135 and 145. That means I can up the resistance to 2.5 kp. And this is the fourth and last workload, and then we'll go into recovery. Okay, so now that we're coming up to the last minute of the last workload, we'll see if you're in steady state. 161. And that is over, so we're going to do one more minute. And then if it's still over, we're going to reduce the resistance and take you into recovery. Okay. Alright, for your last minute you have 159, so you have come back down into steady state and you're done your last workload. So now we're going to go into recovery for 5 minutes. Okay, so your last minute, your heart rate is 115. It has come down really well, so you're nice and cooled down now, so if you could please come sit in the chair.
haven't looked either. So I'm kind of scared. But we'll see what happens.
She hasn't done any physical activity for 6 hours today. Food or beverages, she does YMCA.
All right, your blood pressure was 126 over 68, and your heart rate is not 95. One 120 over 72. Your heart rate is 90. So just wait a couple more minutes, we'll take the final reading. Okay, so your blood pressure was 120 over 72, and your heart rate was 87. So your values came down very well, so you're good. Now I'm going to do the calculations, and I'll be able to tell you what your VO2 max is. Okay. Alright, well I determined your VO2 max for the calculations, and it's 35, and your aerobic fitness score is 355, and that means that you need improvement. So we're going to work on that, and before you know it, you'll be very good. You just got to keep the hard work. Okay. These are the results for Maris's YMCA test. These are the calculations for Maris's YMCA test for her VO2 max and aerobic fitness score.